What is up? We are back with some Yu-Gi-Oh content with a fan favorite. What a cool deck to revisit here. We're going back to Blue Eyes. Finally, got some new support. Gotta check it out. I've been in the lab just a little bit, just getting my hands wet with my feet wet with this deck, but it's been really fun. I've been having a blast with it. I think the new support is great, and it's honestly quite fun to play. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it here. We opened up the Prayers with Eyes of Blue, an Ash Blossom, Valor, another Ash, and a Droplet. This deck, thankfully, has a lot of space to play hand traps, which is great. Very small, tight engine. The opponent opens Droll, cross out. Let's see, Rukia of the White Forest. I don't know how to say that one. Droplet and Sylvie. Looks like Sylvie and Rukia. We'll just call them like those. So anyways, yeah, they do have a pretty nasty hand trap here, but we did open combo. So as long as this doesn't get interrupted or stopped or in any way impeded, this would theoretically be full combo, just this one spell. But let's go ahead and check it out. I did win the rock, paper, scissors, so I do get to resolve this, which is nice. We pitched the redundant Ash Blossom, and I don't think they're on anything, or I'm waiting for them to, because they would have ashed this, which was crazy. So I just go for maximum combo. Like, let's go for negates plus like major normal summon of the deck here. And so, you know, that one resolves, and then on res, Droll. Yeah, this deck does hard lose to Droll, I will say. Thankfully, this is a match though, so we do get to benefit from games 2 and 3 and preparing a little bit better for this card. But yep, they do Droll me, and at this point, there's no reason to play any other cards. Maybe set a Droplet and that's it. But yeah, at this point, we basically, you know, this card's not going to do its thing and start to combo off, and doesn't actually combo. The Sage is really the one card monster combo. This card got so much better with the newer support, so we'll get to show that off, of course. But we do pass to the opponent here with just a Forbidden Droplet set. So they go ahead and start it off with their normal summon here. It looks like they're going to attempt to search. So rather than just, you know, sending an Ash their way, I give them the Valor because I do want to try to save the Ash for any spells they might have. I know that they have a spell searcher, like a Reinforcement of the Army of Rhoda-esque card. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and negate this. They do have the Extender in hand. They pitch to draw, which I just allow. I'm like, all right, better have it, better draw into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the Silhouette Rabbit. Love this guy. Let's appreciate the rabbit for a second. This guy is just incredible. Look at this adorable little guy. Silo hat. Come on, that's incredible. He has a cool effect too. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by battle. That's pretty common for monsters of the illusion type, but then it has more. So it says you can only use each of the following effects once per turn of this card's name. So if you had multiple copies, you could still only use one copy once per turn, but you can use each of the effects, which is nice. If this card is link summoned, you can set one continuous trap with your deck with an effect that special summons itself as a monster. Oddly specific. Also, this card cannot be used as link material this turn. So there are actually a number of trap monsters in the game, and this now is a dedicated link monster, essentially, that's setting them up, which is great, and it sets rather than adds, so it plays around Ash Blossom. Very cool card design. Also pretty generic, 2 effect monsters. Any 2 monsters can make this guy. And you're normally setting a monster that negates a summon, and so, you know, you're basically turning 2 into a pseudo negate, which is pretty cool. Then it says, as its second effect, if a card in the spell and trap zone is special summoned to a monster zone, except during the damage step, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So it is back row removal once you bring out one of your guys. So this thing turns into a double interruption, you know, depending on what your opponent's playing, which is pretty crazy. But thankfully, we were able to stop them. This doesn't have a way of popping out of the hand, it looks like. Nope, it is a great starter, but they did not open it. They drew into it off of this thing's effect. So they are stopped here as well. It does suck we had to give up the Ultimate Fusion, but I was like, I need to save this Ash just in case. And then we just draw more gas. So this is basically guaranteed to you know, send them to oblivion. This is a cool retrain of the Kaiser Seahorse that used to be a sea serpent. Thankfully, it has become a dragon since. Way cooler, even though it's a seahorse. I feel like the 2 things that were kind of tying it to the sea, it was always a light, but it was a sea serpent. Now it's just a dragon. But whatever, it's cool to see this guy, and he has great effects. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and actually normal summon this because we have a way of getting to Mausoleum of Light now, which is excellent. So this guy will just be our normal summon, and we can then just go ahead and immediately link him off. He does have an on-field effect to level modulate by 1. I personally don't think he's that great. You can go into some rank 10s or some rank 8s, I guess, with your Blue Eyes, which is cool and all. But yeah, I think for the most part, he's better in the grave. Although, you know, he does make rank 12s as well, which Crimson Dragons are 12, so that's something to consider as well. Or not rank, sorry, synchro 12s. They're not ranks, they're just synchros. So we go ahead and link summon this Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We gotta link one. This thing's awesome. So it says 1 level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster monster. So level 4 or lower is crazy. They could have made this level 1s only, which would have made total sense, but the fact that it's so generic like this means that 1, Dragon Link is gonna abuse this card, but 2, it really synergizes with the spellcaster side of this deck, of which there are many. So this guy can absolutely be used as material for this link summon. And then we get to double trigger here. When this thing is sent to the graveyard and when this thing is summoned, both of them will have their trigger effects. So we'll have the Spirit with Eyes of Blue somewhat chain blocked. They do have the droplet to stop it anyways. But it looks like our Kaiser Seahorse will go ahead and resolve, which is going to send a Blue Eyes monster or a monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. So they are going to go ahead and send their cross out here. So they're just leaving themselves on Silhouette and Stellar, which may be enough for this turn. So we're going to go and dump the Maiden of White. This is the new level 1 here. And this thing is crazy. This thing has so many effects. So you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. So this is a hand effect or an on-field effect. So you send it to the graveyard and then place 1 True Light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone. So it's placing, so you get to use it that turn, which is nuts. And the True Light itself, I think now looked at it in an isolation, is better than Eternal Soul. Because Eternal Soul, in terms of spells and traps, is only grabbing 1 of 2 cards, or it's reborning the Dark Magician. True Light, as you'll see, does something way better. So we are going to get stopped in the Spirit, so we do not get our Mausoleum, which means we don't get our extra normal summon. But that's totally fine, because we do have the Maiden of White here. So now, this is why you play 2 Blue Eyes in the deck, at least. Because Sage with Eyes of Blue has a hand effect as well. So you can discard this card, then target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. So that's great, because we can now turn this dead copy of Spirit into our actual Blue Eyes. And, you know, theoretically, we haven't even gone through the first Blue Eyes, but in the combo you do. And so using this to special summon another Blue Eyes from the deck by getting this into your hand is a way to turn this into like just an even crazier extender. So we are going to go ahead and absolutely bring out the legendary dragon itself, Blue Eyes White Dragon. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction, virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. So yes, we bring it out, and now we get to reveal an additional effect on the new Maiden card. Maiden can, when Blue Eyes White Dragon is summoned, it can, let's see, when a card, no, that's the first one. Second effect here. If you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card. So it always comes out, or at least once per turn, which is just crazy. And then, of course, it has a third effect, because why not? When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, quick effect, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon or a level 1 Light Tuner from your graveyard. And then, you know, you can only use all of these once per turn. But this is great, because if it's targeted, including by your own effects, you're going to go ahead and get to special summon right from the graveyard, which is nice. So, yeah, this is just all around, like, probably one of the best cards in the deck. Second only to, like, the Sage, who just grabs her, you know, or an extender. So, yeah, getting the True Light's just ridiculous. And because of that, I mean, basically, we can then equip. So, oh yeah, so we basically brought the Blue Eyes and the Maiden out. So now we have our Prayers with Eyes of Blue's graveyard effect. In addition to searching 2 cards, which we did, you know, successfully. This thing can also, you can banish it from your graveyard. Let's see what it says. You You banish this card from your graveyard. Then target one Blue Eyes White Dragon you control. Equip one Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell that gives it 400 attack. Also, the main effect that you're using, you discard to add a level 1 Light Tuner and a spell or trap immense Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's incredible. It's a double search, like better than Melody. But then this thing equips a Blue Eyes from the extra deck, and the attack gain is superfluous. The fact is you're equipping here, and so you get to cheat out your Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon early because we are absolutely going to try to use that as fusion material. Not this turn. I mean, obviously, we've kind of foregone the fusion route here. But you can still do that. So we're just kind of going bonkers here. So now we're going to go ahead and place our True Light using her on-field effect. And then we get to use the True Light. Oh, set a spell or trap. So we're going to set another Prayers. And then this is crazy, right? We used this last turn. So we're going to get to use the first effect of it now. Who cares about Ash Blossom, right? We get a double search. So battle here. Attack with Silhouette. And look at this. This double search now not only sets up our second Blue Eyes, but now we've got an interruption or a normal summon that we can use to go into Spirit. So we are sitting pretty right now. So they're going to go ahead and try to make an SP here. They target my True Light. And this is interesting because I'm going to chain the True Light to get my effect to resolve anyways. So they're really not doing anything here unless they're trying to get rid of the Blue Eyes. So then I chain the True Light, and I don't know. They could have responded with SP. They could have, when I activate a card or effect, they can target 2 monsters on the field. Oh, they can't target Blue Eyes. Let's go, True Light. This card's just coming up. This is so awesome. Okay, so they were screwed from the beginning. So they had no way of outing this, and we were going to use the Veiler. So True Light is really like what makes this deck revolve. And there's the main reason why it's better than Eternal Soul, the Dark Magician card, is, not because it gives it worse protection. The targeting's great. It absolutely came up right here. But what's even crazier is what it does. So the drawback to both True Light and Eternal Soul is when they are sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. So they're banishing it. So, bye, see ya. I don't even care. This thing won't even trigger. But then it says, as on-field effects, you have, you can activate one of these effects. You can special summon a Blue Eyes from your hand or graveyard. Cool. That's the same as Eternal Soul. Or set one spell or trap from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its text with a different name from the cards you control and in your graveyard. So this is grabbing different cards, and this can grab anything. So as long as it mentions Blue Eyes, it grabs that. That is so crazy, in my opinion. So that's why this thing is better than Eternal Soul, is this can grab whatever you need. Starters, extenders, you name it. Blue Eyes got 2 really good ones. This starter, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, probably one of the best cards in the deck. Definitely the best spell in the deck. The second one is not as good. You can bring out Blue Eyes monsters. And then, you can use the second to fuse to maybe make an Ultimate Dragon. You're not doing that. This is a Blue Eyes extender to special summon from deck or graveyard or banish. So, they want to get all cheeky and banish your Blue Eyes with a Bestial. Just yoink it on back with Saga here. So with that, I think that this is really like just a super improved deck. So anyways, we have to get into game 2 here because things were just heating up. And this is the beauty of a match structure here, right? So we're going into our side deck. We've definitely thrown in the Nibiru's. I think we're rocking 2 in the main, maybe 3. Main deck's a huge fluctuation. Deck profile is not going to come out for a little bit. These cards haven't even been released yet, so this would just be a digital one. But there will definitely be some ban list changes in the near future that I'm sure they will specifically tweak to allow this deck to exist without some of the nasty toxicity that I've seen it. So anyways, we're going second. Obviously, they want to combo off. We have a Nibiru and a Prayer. Not seriously, but no, we have Bingo Machine, Maiden of White, Nibiru, doubles copies of each of those, and then they have a Toy Soldier, a Toy Tank, Ezelet, a Stellar, and Tails with the White Forest. So they're going to go ahead and set their toys, and then they can use their White Forest cards to send them to the graveyard to search, but then these guys just pop out as bodies, which is crazy too. So they search the Tails, which is just a searcher, and then the Toy Box is kind of the toy's little way of setting up additional monsters in the spell and trap zone. Let's see. you can also use it to destroy monsters. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so regardless, they're going to combo off. They're going to do a lot of synchroing. Funny enough, this is a Synchro v Synchro deck. They are also very Synchro heavy. So they're going to go ahead and bring out, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. They add a White Forest card, though, which is kind of cool. So now they have double tails. I don't know why they wouldn't grab something else there. They do set up Woes, which is kind of cool. Now, this was one of the more interesting combos that they set up. They did have to use 2 lights, so they don't get the second effect. But they did make a Chaos Angel, which I think is pretty cool. And with lights, it makes their Synchro monsters unaffected by monster effects activated by the opponent. And so this is a very nice thing to make early on because, I mean, shit, it's a way to protect all of your Synchros. So now I'm in an interesting spot with my Nibiru. I wasn't expecting them to make the Chaos Angel, but like as their first Synchro summon. I was gonna wait a little bit, but now that this would protect, I basically see all 3 of these bodies as a potential Synchro monster. And so because of that, you know, we need to drop the Nibiru now. So I'm almost positive that's what happens next. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and drop the nib on them and just force them to use some extenders here, which of course they had searched with the toy box. Look at to put back a Synchro to use the graveyard effect, reset some toys. They're going to draw, oops, nope, but they are negated. But of course, when the toys hit the grave, they can special summon themselves and then tag out interesting bodies. So we're going to keep laddering up. So this is interesting. They don't have protection on this. They do have a Woes, which is some Synchro summon on my turn, which basically is going to use their Book of Eclipse effect. So that's really their only interruption, plus a little protection from Chaos Angel, but it's only activated monster effects that they're protected by. They don't have any battle protection because they didn't use Darks. Interesting thing to note. All right, so we're going to draw the Mausoleum. Not the best draw in the world, but all good. So Bingo Machine Go becomes great. Any 3-ofs are now just searchable. There's a little bit of randomness where your opponent picks one of the 3 cards you reveal that has either Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate in their Spell and Trap name, or a Blue Eyes monster. So as long as the card you're revealing fits one of those criteria, you basically reveal 3 and your opponent randomly picks 1. So we just reveal 3 of the same. All good. Grab the Prayers, which is by far the best starter. Activate Mausoleum. Just check for Ash, see if they want to do anything to that. They don't. So we're going to go ahead and pump the Nibiru here, just as a way to threaten against the Chaos Angel. I do know they have a Book of Eclipse, so I'm not just going to rush to battle because then they're just going to flip it face down. We activate Prayers. This is the hard check for Ash. If they had it, they would have stopped it. They did not, which means I'm probably going to win. So now actually, no, it's a little bit pompous to say that. We're going to see I made a very critical siding error here. So I'm going to go ahead and use Maiden of White's effect to place the True Light. And now we're going to Sage, and we're going to Sage effect to search our second normal summon here. Now we're going to go ahead and use our Spirit, tag out into the Blue Eyes, and then of course, since Blue Eyes is summoned, we get to bring out the Maiden. Now they correctly try to stop me here. I realize, I could have made a Crimson Dragon, but it would have gotten booked anyways, and the Synchro Rumble that it's going to search is just going to lock me into Synchros, which I guess is fine, but it's not going to be able to tag out into anything, which is, I think, the most important part. So it didn't really make sense. I considered that as an option using the Nibiru, but I don't think it really made sense. So they're going to book, and this is where it gets kind of crappy here, because, yeah, there's basically no way. I had sided out my second Blue Eyes, so I don't have another Blue Eyes. So this True Light can't grab anything useful here. Yeah, it's pretty annoying because I definitely have another normal summon. I have a way to make Spirit, basically. So we flip up the Nibiru because it hadn't changed its battle position that turn. Spirit, or Master, is going to add the Sage here back to hand. And then this is where, right, if we had the second Blue Eyes still in the deck, and so, I'm learning lessons here too with this strategy, and you absolutely need to keep 2 in your deck because it's just combo food, and your opponent's going to mess with them in weird ways. Having it face down is actually like crippling me with only the 1 Blue Eyes in the deck right now. I cut it down just because I was like, going second, open hand traps. You don't cut the Blue Eyes in your siding patterns. So I set a Saga, but I can't even use it because the Blue Eyes is sided out. So we're a little hosed there. So we're going to go ahead and move on into game 3, right? And this is great because the only side deck card I see is Called By, and that's the only thing I need. All right, so game 3, we open up the Seahorse, Bingo, Saga, Blue Eyes himself, and the Called By. They have a Baldrake, Rusha, LZ, what the fuck? Sylvie, and Drool and Lockbird. So, yeah, they do open the Drool, which is normally crippling against this deck. Thankfully, we've got the counter, because we are a good player. So we're going to go ahead and Bingo Machine on into our Prayers. And let's just check for Ash and Drool right away. Because, thankfully, we do actually have other ways to bring out tuners and stuff. So because of that, we are going to... we check for Drool first by using Bingo Machine to try to draw that out. We do have the Called By for that, thankfully. Now we're going to check for Ash. They do not have it, and we have correctly put 2 Blue Eyes in our deck. So, yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. So, at this point, we're going to go ahead and Maiden on into our True Light, use the Spirit, grab the Mausoleum. We're going to go for the full combo here. So now at this point, I have no qualms with locking them under any sort of shenanigans here. Let's explain the combo as we go a little bit here. So we use the Mausoleum to send a Blue Eyes from our deck. Or no, we don't. We've already used the Blue Eyes. Oh, we opened one in our hand. So we're just going to use the Spirit then to summon out the Blue Eyes from the graveyard, which will trigger our Maiden. Now they think they're being cheeky here by stopping my Maiden with their Baldrake. That means absolutely nothing. We've got the gas to go for game here. So, or basically set up game. So we're going to go ahead and special summon out the Kaiser Seahorse. It does have a way to special summon while we control Blue Eyes White Dragon. Incredible. So that's our extender now. And then we're going to go ahead and just get the Blue Eyes Ultimate into rotation by Prayer's Graveyard Effect to equip it. And we've got a Sleepy Barker. And so we're going to use our Crimson Dragon here to go ahead and search. And then we're going to use the Kaiser Seahorse, because it was sent to the graveyard from the field to dump from our deck. So now we get to skip the whole convoluted combo to put Chaos Max in the graveyard. Yeah, we're on this thing. And we can just use this to dump it out, which is incredible. Really nice to see. So we are now going to resolve here. So we dump the Chaos Max with the Seahorse, and then Crimson Dragon grabs Synchro Rumble. Great extender for the deck. Now we're going to go ahead and just proceed like nothing really happened there. We're going to bring out another Blue Eyes, this time from our deck, and then we're going to Synchro Rumble back any level 1 Light Tuner, go ahead and make a Spirit, and at this point we've got the game on lock here. We are going to set Ultimate Creature of Destruction. What a cool card. I love this card so much. Is it the best card in the deck? No, you probably only play one, but you know, especially going first, it's so cool. So 1, artwork is on point. 2, its effect says target 1 Blue Eyes monster you control. This turn, that face-up monster is unaffected by card effects except its own. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, any opponent's monster it battles is destroyed at the end of the damage step. What an effect. I mean, completely unaffected. Can't be destroyed by battle. It's destroying anything that dares to face it by battle. Second effect, if this card is in your graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, if you normal or special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this once per turn. So, 1, if you have multiple copies of this, you can absolutely protect multiple things on the field. Its graveyard effect, yes, is limited to once per turn, but basically you can send, there's many things that send cards from your hand to the graveyard in this deck, Prayers being the primary one. So if you happen to draw this, you can just send this to the graveyard and bring it back once you summon a Blue Eyes. And you're always summoning Blue Eyes at least once per turn. And so because of that, like, this card's so good. So this is just extra protection just in case they decide to get cheeky. And then we absolutely have the ability to make a Magia on the opponent's turn. We will show off the extra deck a little bit here. We did have a way to make Magia, which is just a crazy card. But I'm choosing to play around, Dark Ruler No More. That spell that basically turns off everything on the field. And now we're using that we're basically have a way to quick fuse into that during the main phase. So, I'm really trying to set up what is arguably the most fearsome board that will stop the opponent, but also not leaving myself vulnerable to major forms of board breakers going second cards. And so, yeah, because of that, we're going to pass it on over. Also, because basically once you use Synchro Rumble, you can only special summon Synchro monsters. So we would have had to make Magia earlier in the combo anyways. I personally think better to play around Dark Ruler no more by keeping this thing as a quick play spell. So now, on the opponent's turn, we waste no time. They draw a card, and immediately in response, because they have no quick play actions, I'm going to go ahead and use Spirit's Effect, tag out into the ultimate, and then we're going to use Crimson Dragon, targeting the other level 12 to tag out into a level 12. A Dragon Synchro monster from the extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster, the Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate, or the Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon. Yeah, crazy name, crazy artwork. Really cool. It is a negate. We can go ahead and check this thing out. Opponent can't banish cards from our graveyard. No Bystials, thank you. And then when a card or effect is activated on the field, we can negate. And the thing gains 1,000 attack. And then if it's destroyed, we can bring back a light dragon monster, except the ultimate dragon. Really nice. Not really the best protection, but absolutely fantastic. Unique protection for sure. Not being able to have your opponent mess with your graveyard in particular is unique. But the negation is really what comes up, and it's level, of course, because yes, we are temporarily on Calamity. I don't think it should stay around. This deck will break this card, absolutely. But or they could, if they really want to, ban Crimson Dragon. But yeah, we are gonna Calamity the opponent here, so they can't activate cards or effects on the field. And that's pretty much a wrap. You're not playing through that. But it was clear they were on a very competent strategy. They were playing well. So I was like, all right, game 3, we gotta hit them with the unfairness, because I think truly, to be honest, if you want a deck that is meta viable, it has to be unfair a little bit. So, anyways, welcome back to Blue Eyes. We are so back. Let's see the victory. They will indeed drop out. But yeah, until next time.